We got to move on to the next segment of the show. What do we have next, Delilah?
Ooh, ladies, we got to talk about some drama. Yes, Nicole, the drama of this week was insane. Ooh.
Let's go. Always love drama. This show, if you know about it, one of our favorite segments is Janae with the drama in the NFL. So we got to give it to you, and you guys got to chime in. Let us know what you guys think. All right. So we have a huge, huge problem, ladies, that's going on right now in the NFL. And the most valued player that you can have on your team, we are finding more injuries than ever. We are finding so many starting quarterbacks in the NFL are being injured. And my question is, do we need to invest more in a backup quarterback? I just want to throw out no shade against the Jets, but the Jets are struggling because they didn't go out and get somebody behind, and they knew about Zach Wilson last year. And so now you have them this year, but they didn't make any major moves. The Vikings went out, got Dobbs, tried to make some moves to make sure that their season wouldn't be a flump. It looks like teams are not valuing that backup quarterback position like all teams. You know, we have Cooper Rush. I'm not a huge Cooper Rush, but he is a great backup. When we had, an injury with Dak Prescott, Cooper Rush came in, won 5 games out of 6. That's a good backup. Mm-hmm. It looks like they're not valuing the backup position. Currently, we have Joe Burrow out. We got Deshaun Watson out. We all know Aaron Rodgers is out. We got Anthony Richardson out. We got Kirk Cousins out. We got Pickett out. We got
Derek Carr.
Mac Jones is out. Mac is in there right now. Mac Jones is out.
Nicole's quarterback. That's what she's raising her hand.
Who's going to be healthy with the Saints? Luckily, they have 3 quarterbacks. I don't know how they're making that work, but whoever's hurt, they definitely have somebody ready. But what do you guys think? Should teams be like the Saints? Have multiple options, multiple threats that you can put into the game at all times. Like pay more to the backup quarterback, because in this league with so many injuries, you got to be ready. So, Sam Howell, yeah, he's still in, and not doing much. But sorry, Sean. All right, Delilah, what do you think? Do teams need to value backup quarterbacks more?
Yes, I do actually, and there's some good ones out there that honestly, okay, I'm a big fan of Big Red Andy Dalton. You know why? He is pretty good when he comes in. You know what I mean? He doesn't care about being a backup. That's what I like about him. He's like, I'm collecting a check, and then he's serviceable when he goes in. Like when he was on the Bears before, they had 3 quarterbacks at one time. They didn't know who they wanted, right? When he was playing games, he wasn't awful. You know what I mean? He was in and doing his thing. And so I do think that teams need to look a lot better at having a strong backup quarterback. I think that is obviously now with the injuries mounting up, right? It doesn't matter how many rules they try to put in, how many protective gears they try to strap on the quarterback, how many penalties that, you can't blow on a quarterback. You know what I mean? It just doesn't matter. You're still playing a contact sport.
Yes.
At the end of the day, you're still playing a contact sport. Some of these guys get hurt, not even getting hit. They just step the wrong way, or they throw a football the wrong way. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's non-contact injuries that, ends up taking a player out. You know what I mean? And so I do think that they need a better investment in the backup. And I think the team that learned that was San Francisco. Bingo. San Francisco tried, to be honest. They had multiple backups and they all got hurt. That was wild last year, right? They all got hurt. But if they hadn't, you wouldn't have the star that came out of that Purdy, right? Sometimes good things happen out of some insanity. And now they got Sam Darnold. I know, he ain't great, but you know what? He's a good backup. That's why he's there.
That is
he is
true.
he is a decent backup who can at least hold some games, maybe win some. You know what I mean? And he did until Purdy got healthy because Purdy was out too for a few weeks, with an
Yeah,
injury. And so I do think it's important that they look into not just the up and coming quarterback that they want to get ready, but backup, like an actual backup who can step
yes,
in at a moment of crisis like this where your guy is out. And sometimes for a full season or
that's
half a
true.
season. So yeah, I think it's a good idea. I think they do need to do a better job of really evaluating that backup quarterback position.
I'm glad you said it. I'm glad you said it. Nicole, what do you think about it? Does the NFL need to take more time and get some valuable backup quarterbacks?
I think it is. I do agree. I mean, look at Dobbs right now, with Minnesota. He's been remarkable in outshining and doing a pretty stand up good job for what he's been given with the task. And I mean, I know I'm so I know it's not Thanksgiving anymore, but I'm still so thankful in Taysom Hill. But I mean, it does become push to shove when I mean there are doubts with our New Orleans and them booing
100%.
and getting Taysom Hill on the field. Uh, Jameis Winston is, I think, still good, and we still are taking our time with trying to get that groove. But it's a different model of new football we're playing with
Hmm.
how quarterbacks nowadays are having that pressure and stuff with being more active and being more athletic in
Yeah,
general, like
yeah,
Taysom Hill. They always compliment him and being so athletic because
right,
he's
Yes,
built bulkier than most people. That
play
it does
quarterback.
take
Yeah.
some a little bit, but you need to get some depth in there for sure in that quarterback position.
that's it. Absolutely. I 100% agree. I feel like with us looking at the league now, it's like you don't even know these quarterbacks that are in the game right now. You don't even know, I mean, who the heck is playing. You're like, wow, who is that? Or, Burrows goes down, their quarterback comes in and wins. Comes in and wins the game. It's like, who are these quarterbacks
Right.
that are coming out? I mean, even the Jaguars, their quarterback, play decent to get them out, but didn't
Right.
win. But it's just such a crazy league that I think that they need to value the quarterback position like they value anything else, like any other position that you would have. You got two great wide receivers, you got two great good running backs. You if you build your team like that, you need to have probably a great quarterback because it's just such an injury prone season. All right. So my next topic, guys, we got to talk about it because it just feels like we're seeing strange times. And it's weird to me that we are looking at the Buffalo Bills right now being 6-6, looking like an average team. We are also looking at the Kansas City Chiefs looking like they're struggling to win against teams that we are used to them dominating. What is going on with the top tier teams, guys? Like, do you think that with Kansas City that with them losing to teams that we know that they can beat, do you think it's that they need to get wide receivers? I've been hearing that about them. They need wide receivers. Do you think the Bills are just jinxed? Because I mean, it looks like Josh Allen is playing pretty well, other than his turnovers, but he does have a lot of touchdowns. What is going on with the top tier AFC teams that we are used to seeing at the top? Nicole, what do you think?
Well, that's a tough question.
Yes,
I'm lucky I'm not their coach. Because I bet you the coach is probably being asked that quite a bit right now,
100%.
especially with like the upcoming like playoff season. It's just about
Yes.
time. So, I mean, it's crunching the numbers and stuff, and it has to do a lot with some of the quarterbacks, and maybe a lot of teams didn't build up that depth to
Yes.
be healthy and wealthy in the last quarter of the football season.
Come on. I Absolutely. I totally agree. I love Nicole too. Absolutely. Hey, Delilah, what do you think?
Yeah, I think one thing I think is that a lot of teams have figured out how to play against these top tier, AFC teams. I think that they've played enough times and all the different teams enough times that a lot of them have a good idea of like their schemes, and their plays, and they kind of have a better feel for these two teams. They're always like dominating the past two seasons, right? They're a top one, top two, and we remember the infamous like Duke, the shootout between the Bills and the Chiefs. That was a huge thing, and so I think that now what we're seeing is players are older. I think people forget a lot of these guys are older, and I know they're not old people, but in sports, you're older. You're not as fast, as quick, and if they're right, you got to kind of freshen that up. I think they do need to get some new, fresh players on both teams to kind of add a spring to their step. You know what I mean? Like I'm not. I'm not saying that they need to like upgrade from their quarterbacks. That's not what I'm saying. I do think they need to freshen up their offensive defense though a little bit more. The Kansas City defense has always been a little shaky. I think they definitely need to like think about that again. And so yeah, I think it's time to get some fresh players in there, kind of freshen up that, balance that out with the vets.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I 100% agree. Let us know what you guys think in the comments. Man, we just want to know, why are these top teams just not, and is the era done? Like, people were hyping up the Mahomes. Is this going to be the next Tom Brady? Right? And he is. He is 100%. Don't get it twisted. The question. He's 100% top tier. The top.
Yeah, for sure.
But will this sustain? Tom Brady was able to not have quote unquote top tier receivers to get these touchdowns or Super Bowls. Tom Brady, we're complaining about what Mahomes has with Travis Kelce and they won the Super Bowl with all those players last year.
Oh yeah, they did.
We're right here this year. It doesn't look the same. Could be the era of, oh, the Chiefs are just going to be in the Super Bowl every year? Is that era done? Now they are 8-4, so it could be the overhype, but we're just seeing them lose to the 4 teams that they've lost to, not teams that we would expect for them to lose to. The Broncos. Come on, we're just it really, yeah. I just had to mention that because those teams.
Yeah.
We're just used to seeing them in that top tier.
For sure.
All right, last one, guys. FSU got snubbed in the final top 4 for the ACC championship. All right, in my opinion, I think it was the right decision, but I know it hurts. If you don't know, Florida State University, they actually were 12-0, never lost a game. But their quarterback did get injured, and the last 2 games that they played before the voting of who would be the top 4 teams, the last 2 games that they played were really tight games against not great teams, which ultimately decided that when they were going to pick the top 4 ACC championship teams, they left this 12-0 team out because they didn't think that they would be able to compete with the top 4 that's in there. So, do you think, ladies, with having a 12-0 season, that you should automatically get into the top? The best record, basically, because, well, not the best record. I do believe that 2 teams got 1 loss, but because of who they lost to, because of how it was in the how it played out, better conferences, they weren't in the top 4. Do you think it's okay for a 12-0 team to not be in the top 4, even though they went undefeated? Delilah.
Well, I did watch those games, actually. I don't watch a lot of college football, but I was actually at a bar and they were playing both games. And I thought that FSU game was a good football game to watch. Like that was a good game. Now, I understand people being upset about that. I always follow the NFL, and if you have an undefeated season, you're automatically going to the playoffs. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So that's
Yeah.
and I think this is why they're changing the scheme, right? I think in 2025 it's going to be 8 teams, right? Isn't that kind of
Yes.
one of the reasons
They're
why,
moving up to 12 teams.
or something like that? Yeah. So I think this is why they're going to change that whole playoff dynamic is because of this exact reason, right? Is that a lot of people who watch, fans, colleges, they always feel like it's stacked against them, against certain teams, right? Everybody has it. I'm not saying it's rigged. I'm just saying what it looks like to a lot of these other teams. They're like always these teams, always these guys. We're always seeing the same ones. Blah 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 blah. Like Bama's in, even though they're not undefeated. This was Georgia's only loss, right? So people are upset about that too. By the way, the Bulldogs not making it just because they lost one game.
Good point.
So so I understand the frustration and why college is changing things, right? Because people are like, this is crazy. We can't keep doing this, right? Because the thing is that teams are getting better from different conferences.
Yes.
Right? It's not the same conferences anymore, even though a lot of them are merging, but still, you have other teams who are playing high caliber college football in other conferences that get snubbed. And so this is why that's changing in 2025, I believe, is when it's officially going to be more playoff 12 or something.
Yeah.
But anyway,
or maybe even next year. I think
or something.
next season.
Yeah, so I understand why that's being done. I understand the change. It makes sense. It's just time to everything changes, everything grows, right? We always talk about progress on this show, and it was time for college to do so. As some, when I cover my statistics on the roundtable, or even when I do the verse with Delilah, everything that happens in professional football is because of college football. A lot of stuff started there first. That's where football started. It was college. Then it went professional, So that's what I'm seeing. Like college football has been around a lot longer. American football, has been around a lot longer. And so it was kind of time to kind of start making those adjustments. I think that's the right call to adjust the playoff scheme next year because of things like this.
Yeah, 100%. Nicole, what do you think? 12-0 team didn't make the Final Four.
If this rule changes, I have an inkling that it might have to do with last year with Alex Loosemore and Johnny. They got into our little friends at LCF, ended up getting into it because of the Detroit Lions and the Buccaneers getting into the playoffs with how Detroit had a really great season and had a better score uh, than what the Buccaneers had for getting into the playoffs. And they went back and forth for quite some time, actually, in the podcast. And that maybe someone was watching, but that's how important it is and how sometimes that can be such a huge factor into just getting in. And I can't even believe to be undefeated and not get in. And I can understand, how that is super. I'm confused by it, but we don't have colleges up here, so I only have the NFL to follow.
Me too.
But if that happens, there's a lot of other rules that they've started to take from college football, even about their numbering on their jerseys now are based now more off of college football numbers. So I can't help to think that if this does happen, that there might be ripple effects that lead up into the NFL where we might be discussing this again.
Yeah, absolutely. I just don't understand. It's sad. But like Delilah said, you had Georgia, who we all know would have won the entire thing if they would have. They lost that one game, but they are good enough to win out and win the rest of the games against the Final Four teams. We know that. I do think it has something to do with last year for the national championship. It was TCU versus Georgia, and the score was 7-65.
Yeah, I remember that.
So I think what they were thinking, because Florida State doesn't play the teams that Alabama and Georgia and all them the different conferences, I think it would have affected business-wise. Now that we all know the players are getting paid now, college kids are getting paid.
Yeah, they get tons
There's
of
no
money.
need to hide that it is a business. No need to hide that part. And so now they're extending it to the 12 games. So we will see how beneficial that is, and how at least the teams that deserve to get in will get in, and it'll be an actual real playoffs like the NFL has. But we will see. It's definitely going to be interesting. But sorry to the Florida State University students and players, athletic team. You guys have been just amazing this year, and you shouldn't be down about it. You guys killed it this year.
Yeah.
I know it's
You're going to a bowl, right? What bowl are they going to?
Yeah, they went to the bowl. They went to a bowl.
They're going
Oh, dang.
to,
I don't remember.
I'm
Probably
sorry.
something Mayo Bowl.
I know they're going to a bowl. So I hope you win that one, whatever bowl you're going to in a few weeks.
Absolutely. There is a bowl, but yeah, I know how it stings, but you guys deserve it. You guys did great. But it's just how the cookie crumbles has happened many, many, many times. It's not the first time a team has been snubbed.
Orange Bowl. That's a huge bowl. Outside of the championship, I know Orange Bowl is like a big deal. Like, I know it's not the same. I'm not, but I know that Orange Bowl is always like a big deal to win. I hope you get it, guys.
100%. We definitely hope you get it. All right, that is the drama in the NFL. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you like the comment, just send us a comment. Let us know what you guys think about our drama. But you already know we're going to come back next week with some more.